Hello, and welcome back to the fifth and final part of the yearly goal setting. And hopefully, my background's changed. Finally stripped and painted the wall. We even got a new lamp in here, so it's all looking different. Hello, Davina, lovely to have you here, my darling. I think we need to sort out your access to the site, and I think I had a thing come up, so we need to make sure we get that sorted for you at some point. Because when you need replays and things, I think there's something funny going about it. You should just be able to use the same code you used last time, but we will sort that out another day. I have a horrible cold. Been lurking for ages. I'm pretty sure I know which friend gave it to me. Because it was sat in his car for ages, and then we went swimming and to the sauna and stuff, and I'm pretty sure he's given it to me. He's been ill for like 6 weeks. Not impressed. I'm giving it to everyone. But in return, I'm making him come and help me put my Christmas decorations up on Friday, so that's understandable. We will be jumping into today's content, and we are looking at the fifth and final stage of this fabulous goal setting journey. I'm just going to bring up my notes because we know what I'm like. I've got lots of tangents otherwise, and we don't want that. So today we are talking more about writing up and adding deadlines. So hopefully now you've processed your goals. I've actually still got a little bit more work I want to do on mine. I think because life is in a massive state of flux at the moment, it was a little bit harder for me to really like pinpoint mine. So I'm still working on mine. I'm not gonna lie, honestly, still working on mine. And actually I'm gonna use the I've got a train journey on Thursday and train journey back on Friday, to really like knuckle down and make my sort of final decisions, as it were, on that. Like just gotta choose, just gotta pick. I'm just gonna close my email so it's gonna keep beeping at me. But what we'll be going through today is talking about Trello, how we can use Trello or whatever system it is that you want to use, looking at priority orders, talking about deadlines, and talking about storing all the paperwork that we've done today, all the worksheets and things and any of the notes there. We're going to talk about creating our mini list for December, which is really useful going into tomorrow's session, when we can talk about our December goal setting. And then we're also going to be talking about popping all the information into a Happy Lifestyle Planner. So if you're going to do a new one for the new year, I'm going to do a new one for the new year. I'm going to take it with me on the train though, so that'll be a bit I do on the way back. I've got enough stuff to carry as it is. All the fun. So this is what we're going over tonight. Do pop any questions in the chat, but always you can message me at any time about them. I'm really looking forward to like getting back to a little bit more normalcy in January, and having a lot more going on within the membership, and being a bit more on top of it. Like the house feels like it's slowly getting closer, and I've had a lot of dates offer to come and help with buildings stuff, and none of them ever follow through, possibly because my ex still lives here, but I feel like they need to toughen up and just come and help. So hello my darling, have you got a question, or are you saying hi?
Well, both saying hi, and also can you drop the passcode and ID into the chat so I want to join via the laptop rather than via my mobile.
Oh cool. You should have
With the Zoom, that is, sorry.
Oh, what's that?
Because it just the WhatsApp just took me straight to the Zoom without giving me a passcode. Or
I normally turn passcode off for our ones, because I don't share the link anywhere other than so I don't normally bother with passcode. So let me just put the link in the chat, and then you can copy and paste it.
Okay.
Computer.
Let's see if I can do that then.
If you're on Apple, I always put it into my notes on my phone, and then I can put it into the notes on my close my WhatsApp, because otherwise that's going to go crazy. Open the WhatsApp to copy the link again. But that'll go a little bit nuts. Cool. Right. Can you still hear while you're swapping over which ones you're on? So Trello, the upside now is that we have a whole Trello workshop to reference for this, whereas I'd normally we'd spend ages talking through what is Trello and how do we use it. Whereas now there's a video in the membership, so if you're still struggling with any Trello bits, you can go through that. But you can also obviously give me a shout if you've got any smaller questions and things as well. How I have mine is in its own separate column where I type them all up and put their breakdowns in there, which we go through within that workshop. It doesn't have to be Trello if there's another app that you prefer, but I would actively recommend doing it in a digital way so that you can move things around and tick things off and add additional notes and things and what have you. Say one of the steps involves researching, you can attach documents and photos and things to that step within Trello and kind of keep it all together. If one of your goals involves another person, so say it's working on a project in the house, and maybe you've got a builder or a partner or whatever that you can add in that's part of that one as well, that can be really useful. Or if you've got an accountability buddy, you might have access to that bit of each other's Trello lists or something. There might be that that element to it. So I would have it in a digital format. It also means that it's not going to get lost. So if you lose the paper format, you've got that digital safe space there to go back to. And also for me, I use it as a constant reference between like my to-do list. Does my to-do list reflect those goals and what it is that I'm trying to achieve? And obviously next year is going to be a good year next year. I've decided, has to be. So it's going to be an amazing year next year. Good things are going to happen. So yeah, my Trello is going to be the hub of all things good. And the next thing we want to be having a look through is our priority orders. We want to decide both on the goal priority order. And so it might be a particular goal that you're like, actually, I'd like to get this ticked off really early in the year. And we'll talk a bit more about this with deadlines as well. But just having a think, are there some there will be some that run parallel. So say you had a reading 24 books in 2024, that's going to start from the beginning and run parallel through. But is there any goals that you specifically really need to jump on early, that you need to get a head start on? And then also within each of those goals is looking at prioritizing the steps, which we did talk about when we were looking at mind mapping them out. Is there a priority order for the steps that logically makes sense? Sometimes purely practical. Something like building a wall before you paint it. You'd have to build the wall and then paint it. There's going to be a lot of house analogies to this one, aren't there? You have to put up the plasterboard before you do the tiling. You have to get the tile cutter before you do the tiling too. And then you actually have to do the tiling, which is just not happening at the moment. I keep putting that bit off. So is there a logical order to how they need to be done? But then also looking at that order that's going to help keep you motivated. So is there a easier step that's going to give you that like boost, that like tick, yay, I did it step that you could do earlier on? Or are you more of an eat the frog person? I am not an eat the frog person. Eat the frog predominantly just gives me paralysis and makes me not want to do anything. I have to jump back and forward between those harder tasks that are challenging because I find that exciting, but also those ones that are quick wins and they're going to make me feel like I've achieved something and they're going to make me feel good. So thinking about that as well as the practicalities of certain steps when you are prioritizing the steps to achieving each goal. And is there something nice that you can do, or can you save it for further down the line when you know you're going to be struggling? Trying to think of an example. Say you were trying to. I hate losing weight, using losing weight as one, but it's the only one that's coming to mind. Say you were trying to lose weight, that was part of your goal, and to fit into a bridesmaid's dress. You might save bridesmaid dress shopping for further down the line, so that it's that motivation that once you hit X step, you are then allowing yourself to go and do the dress shop. That's like the worst example I could possibly come up with because it goes against so much of what I believe. But the principle, you kind of get the principle. Is there a treat within the steps that can be used as a bit of a reward along the way, a little bit of a carrot along the way? And I have a better example. So for me, there's going to be fair amount of financial based goals in 2024, because I'm now doing it all by myself, and I have obviously got like the incentive of paying bills and looking after little one and things, but there are a couple of little treats in there that I really want. At the moment, I feel like I'm spending half my life drawing my eyebrows on. Can't lie. I train 6 days a week at the moment because it's keeping me sane. And I have 90s eyebrows where like we're massively over tweezed, and so most of like this middle bit doesn't exist. And I had them tattooed years ago. You meant to have them topped up, and I haven't. And actually, I spend a lot of time and effort just making them look not ridiculous. So there's definitely going to be a benchmark within my financial goals. One of the steps of my financial goals is going to be getting my eyebrows re-tattooed. But that's, I suppose, a slightly nicer example, more relevant, I guess. And the other thing we then want to start looking through is within those priority orders, the deadlines. So are there any set deadlines? First, look at any set deadlines that's set by the outside world. So if you had a goal around achieving a certain thing by your next birthday, and your next birthday's in March, then that's obviously going to give you a deadline. So you wanted to go skydiving before your next birthday, then that would give you a deadline. Deadlines might be linked to other people's requirements. Maybe you want to plan an amazing birthday party for your best friend. Birthday again, sorry, but you want to plan an amazing birthday party for your best friend, and their birthday is in September. Well, that's going to start putting your deadlines in place. I tend to do, unless it's like a really like specific one, I tend to do mine in quarters. So I'll put 1 over 4, 1 over 2 over 4, 3 over 4, 4 over 4. For which quarter of the year I want to have achieved them by the end of. So if it's 1 over 4, by the end of the first quarter is when I want to have achieved that goal or that step of that goal. And then I use that as my benchmark each month to decide what I want to happen within each month. Or you could choose to do them monthly. So that gives you the 12 benchmarks instead. I just find that the quarterly works for me. I have done monthly previously, and it did work at that point. So it might be that you're looking at your goals and you think, actually, this I want to set monthly. So for example, if you've got the reading 24 books in 2024, you could set that you're going to read 2 books a month, because 24 divided by 12 is 2, and that's that problem solved. That would make sense to make it monthly. But I tend to like pick one to go with, but there's no right or wrong with how you want to do that. I wouldn't really be setting weekly goals as part of your yearly goal setting. Obviously, we do that each week, but if you plan that all out now, 1, it's going to take forever, but 2, you'll find so much will change. So you'll get a bit behind on one thing and then a bit ahead on one thing, and it'll suddenly completely change the timescale and the deadlines that you set. So having that either quarterly or monthly set in advance, and then you can go back over it and break it down within that month or within that quarter to how you want to do it. And I think particularly, so like for me at the moment, with so much sort of flux going on, it's definitely safer for me to have a quarterly. So within this quarter, I need to achieve this, this, and this, and then I can sit down and look at the quarter as a whole and decide how I need to break that goal or those steps within that goal down, and to achieve it within that time. And I think the other thing with then setting the deadlines is making sure that you're putting them on Trello. Are there any key ones that you really want to put onto your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use? Maybe you're going to put up a yearly overview one on the wall, or you have a family calendar in the kitchen, anything like that. If you've got key deadlines, then pop them in there, because you just know that whichever calendar you look at will be the one that hasn't got everything on. When you go to like plan a summer holiday, that's like right over when you've got an essay due, or you've made a commitment to do something or other. And a commitment to yourself is no less important than when we've committed to someone else. So if you've made a commitment to yourself that you wanted to do it by X date or on X date, then you need to make sure that you are making that really clear in all of your calendars, setting alarms, timers, however you want to do it, timers, you know what I mean. So that those deadlines don't get forgotten, so that you know that you've got those deadlines clear in your mind each time you go in and look at your monthly goals, each time you look at your weekly goals. Like each time we break those down, you want to be able to look at your yearly and be like, right, this month I only got 1 month left of this quarter and I wanted to get this finished within this quarter, so this month I've got to really focus on this one. It just gives that like strong benchmark as we go through, makes it a lot easier as we go through to set our yearly and weekly goals as well, but without having to break it down too much now. So yeah, quarterly is my preferred method at the moment, but that doesn't necessarily mean that monthly is wrong or that monthly isn't going to be the better option for you. So it depends on your goals. Losing my voice. Next one is to remember to photograph all the paperwork. So all the paperwork that you've done, all the notes and the brainstorming and things, take pictures of it and label it your 2024 planning and whatever works for you, or pop it in a folder somewhere. Like take pictures of it and keep the digital copies. You don't need to keep the paper ones if you don't want to. Obviously you can. Even if you're keeping the paper ones, I would still take a digital copy. And I find it really useful to look back over my previous years and go into detail about why, and use them to go into detail about why I wanted to do that goal. I think that's really important when we lose motivation, because that's going to happen. It's just going to happen. It's life. We lose motivation. We need to re-inspire ourselves, or we need to boost our willpower. We can go back to that information. We can look at how we wrote everything and how we came to the realization that we should be doing or working on this goal. But it also then gives us a bit more of an insight into whether we should still be continuing with that goal. So if we look at the reasons why we wanted to do that goal and go, well, those have all changed now, like those don't apply now, or those are irrelevant now, or my feelings around those have changed, or I've evolved as a person and now that really doesn't matter to me and this does matter more, so I'm going to change it or adapt it or get rid of it. And if we can give ourselves a fighting chance by keeping those notes, and so we remember where the goal came from in the first place, like why did we want to do that? The next one that I say is quite key is the mini list for December. Like I said, having it for tomorrow for our yearly goal monthly goal setting. Usually, obviously this has not been a usual year for me. The last couple of years have been interesting, but this has particularly not been a usual year for me. I would not have any of my yearly goals really left to work on in December. There is a lot of my yearly goals that will not be completed this year, and I have made massive peace with that. There's still quite a few that did get done. I'm quite happy about that. There's quite a few when I went through and ticked them off that I was like, oh yeah, I did do that. I kind of have half forgotten that I did that. And there's even a few that have got better recently. So consuming more water was one of mine. Now I might not have hit exactly how I wanted to do it or exact targets, and it might not have been as consistent, but at the moment I'm drinking more water than I was, and over the summer I was drinking a lot of sparkly water. So it's funny how I might not have got quite where I wanted to, but I wasn't too far off. And if I hadn't had that kickstart in December, so I got the water bottle that I needed and I downloaded the app and stuff like that, I wouldn't have been ready to kick off that goal in January. So that's why it's quite important to have is there any little bits in December that you can start doing? If you want to start waking up an hour earlier, can you wake up 15 minutes earlier in December? Can you sort of prep yourself for it? If you want to start training for a marathon, can you sign up in December? What could you do that means when we hit January, you're ready to go? Ready to nail it, and you can use all that amazing like beginning of the year fresh start, all the stuff you'll see in the media and the press and adverts, and everyone will be talking about like New Year's resolutions, all those feels that we get around the beginning of the year. We want to use that energy to start on our goals, not to do like the little bits and pieces. We don't want to waste the energy on the little bits and pieces. You might as well do like the save it for the proper hard stuff. Yes, my lovely.
Hi, Jess. Sorry,
Go.
quick question. I think I missed the beginning. You were talking about the mini list. What's the mini list regarding tomorrow? I missed the beginning or when you were talking about that.
Oh, of this section.
Yeah, you mentioned the mini list for tomorrow. What's the mini list?
Oh, we're still talking about it. It's all right. I'm finished
Oh,
talking
okay.
about it.
So I haven't missed it.
No. We're still talking
Oh,
about it
okay.
this time.
Oh, okay.
um,
I'll just listen.
that's all right, darling. So yeah, so the like I said with the water, the mini list was like for me was order the bottle that would so I had a bottle that was like my special bottle for learning to drink more. It could be things like creating a star chart. I'm such a star chart person. I think I've been mocked 4 or 5 times this week by friends of mine for being such a star chart person. That's how much of a, I know, well, we're only on Tuesday. So it might be putting together, your mini list might include items like create a star chart to track my book reading, or that you can have up on the wall, or order a special bottle that's going to be my drink more water bottle for next year, and download the app that counts my steps so I can hit my step target for each year, and sign up for Goodreads so that I can track my books, research gym memberships if that's one of your goals, is to get going to the gym, research marathons if that's what you want to do. What are the little things that you can get done in September that are not going to be overwhelming, they're not going to get in the way of Christmas, but are there any little bits and pieces that you could be doing? I think also particularly that little bit downtime, that Twixmas, so between Christmas and what's the other one, New Year, between Christmas and New Year, Twixmas, there's often a bit of a lull where we're sort of sitting around in a slight food coma, not knowing what to do with ourselves. And that little list is great then. That's normally when I'll try and work through my little list. Although I potentially have a big decluttering and organising job between Christmas and New Year. So that'll go out the window this year. But yeah, what are the little bits that you could get done through December that will really make it sort of kickstart January in the right way? So I'm trying to think of some other examples. Could you make a mood? There might be like making a mood board for something. So if one of your big goals is to like redo the interior design of like your dining room or something, it's like, can you start a mood board in December that will start you going? And like I said, with the sleep, like if so say you wanted to get up an hour earlier or go to bed an hour earlier, is there a mini version that you could start now? Because let's be honest, when we start new habits, we're going to fail a few times. And if you're planning to start it in January and you start it in December and fail a few times, then it doesn't feel quite so bad. So it's like, what could you start now as like a little tester, as a little tease? So those are all sort of things that you want to be thinking about with your mini list. Are there any mini list bits that you could get in December? If you know your December is insane, your mini list will be very short. If you're like, actually finish work on the 4th of December and then it's fairly chilled and I know I'm not, then you might want to prep more. But it's just having a think, because there's usually at least a couple of bits that we can do in December so that 1st of January we're ready to go, ready to rock and roll. And then finally, it's writing yearly goals up in your planner. If you have a planner, I've even got my fresh one out the loft. I keep store all my other ones above. Got my fresh one out the loft, ready to go. Like I said, I don't want to take it on the train on Thursday, so I'll be doing that when I get back. On Saturday, I've got a nice day in the house, hiding in the well, go to the gym, but a day in the house, and I'll write them all out then. So but having it written down in there so that when I do my weekly reviews and when I do my monthly reviews and stuff in there, that I've got access to them, or whatever format that you want to keep it in. You might choose to just keep them digital, and that's okay. And I quite like having a copy in both. So I'll have my digital one that I can access on my phone at any time. But when I sit down to do my planning, I want to do pen to paper. And when I'm actioning it day to day, I need it in digital. But when I want to sit down and break it down and play around with things, I like having that pen to paper side of things. And that wraps up our yearly goal setting. Like once it's in here, once it's in this bad boy, we're ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So before we wrap up and I completely lose my voice, because I need some for tomorrow night, any other questions at all? Nope, no questions yet.
No,
but
we're all set. Thank you so much, Jessica.
You're welcome. I can't wait for 2024. It's going to be amazing. Although I've got some lovely stuff coming up in December. I can't lie. My local friends have really rallied to make sure that my first single mum Christmas is a good one, and like making sure I do like dragged out ice skating and being dragged up to London on, well, this is a work thing on Thursday, but on the 11th being taken up being shown Christmas lights and taken out for Christmas lunch and stuff. So lots of people looking after me, but it's certainly going to be an interesting one for Christmas. But ready and raring. 2024, watch out, it's in trouble already.
Good for you. So, Jess, I have a quick question actually. You know the mind map stuff. So I can't remember which session it was we did that, but we're supposed to take each goal that we've set and mind map it, or wait till we select the goal, then mind map it.
Once you've selected the goal, I'd mind map it out. So the mind mapping it is to decide on the steps that you need to achieve the goal.
So select the goal first, then mind map everything, and then.
I do occasionally, I'll mind map everything out, and then I'll be like, actually, I now have the goals I've set across this year are too massive, and I might then either adjust the goal or save it for another year. So sometimes it does, mind mapping it sometimes does remove it from my list, but I try and make sure I've got the ones I'm going for before I go into the mind mapping stage. And obviously it's quite a big thing to do for all of them. But again, if you've got a goal that you're not completely sure about, mind mapping it might help you make the decision. But if you can narrow it down as much as possible before, so you're basically saving yourself some work.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, well, thank you so much. It's really nice to have a nice clean background behind me again. Enjoying my pink wall. Like, all my walls are painted in here now. It's very exciting. The storage is not sorted. It's like literally just piles of things everywhere in this room, but it's now painted. The walls are stripped and they are painted. So that's nice. One step forward. Just need to tile my bathroom now. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Same time?
We're 6 to 7 because I think we're an hour long one tomorrow. And I've actually got to go out and look at a project afterwards. Seems to be a lot of people that want to get things sorted for the new year. So I'm popping out to look at another one of those tomorrow evening after the call. Like, people go and work during the day. There seems to be a lot less work from home than when I was London and Newbury, and you could pop around during the day. And now I have to wait for people to come home in the evenings. So too many late nights, but never mind. That's why my cold's not gone. Anyway, I won't stop talking, and then I will not rest my voice. So have an amazing evening. I'll get the replay up for this fairly soon. Worst case scenario is Thursday morning. Yeah, see you tomorrow evening.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye.